What's happening, good people? Welcome to the Wealth 100 Show. I'm your host, George Gilmore, and it's go time. Listen, guys, each week we bring on six-figure professionals and entrepreneurs who are winning in life and business. If you're ready to take your life to the next level, you found the right place. I need you to get into the room right now, guys. I'm putting you in the room with winners that will help push you towards your dreams. Finally, if you want to grow your business, grow your network, and live your dreams to the fullest, I encourage you to apply to the Wealth 100 Mastermind at thewealth100.com, where lives are being transformed through self-development and access to wealth-building opportunities. Welcome to the Wealth 100 Show. Let's go. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Wealth 100 podcast. I am your host, George Gilmore, aka George G, the coach. Listen, guys, we got a special show for you today. We got a superstar in the building. I call her Chef Judy. I don't know if you know her, but that's what we call her around here. Listen, guys, she's a superstar guest. She's a superstar chef. She's been in the Food Network show. I don't know how many times. How many times have you been on Food Network show?
Three.
3 times? What were those shows you were on? Let me ask
Chopped, Supermarket Stakeout, and Cutthroat Kitchen.
So y'all understand this is a superstar. We're not playing with you. Look, she's the owner of Uptown's Chicken and Waffles and Let Me Cater to You Catering and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm going to let her talk to you about it. Chef, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I feel welcomed already.
I know you're natural. You're natural. Listen, we're not going to play around with this thing. We're going to get down to business. First of all, I want you to tell the folks about yourself, where you come from, how you grew up, what city you're from, what school did you go to? Did you go to college? Were you in the military? Give me that information.
Whew.
Let the people know what's happening.
All right, we're going to jump right on in.
Yeah, ain't no need to play.
I am Chef Judy. I have been affectionately known as Chef Judy for some years now. I'm from Chicago,
right.
Chicago, Illinois. Born and raised in the city, in the heart of the city.
Okay.
It was a tough space to be in growing up in Chicago when you're talking during the 80s, during the 90s.
Baby. Okay.
Yeah, you know. Well, I was born in the 70s, but you know, late 70s. We're going to say late. I was almost an 80s baby.
I got you.
And so I went to the military at 17 years old. I told my parents, I want to go to the Army. My mom said, "What you want to do? What you want your job to be?" I said, "I want to cook." I don't know exactly what that entailed, but I knew I wanted to cook. I was always a pretty good cook. I'm talking as a kid.
Okay, I was wondering about that.
19 years old, I'm cooking fried chicken.
Okay,
you know,
so you're getting busy with it in the kitchen.
Listen, mac and cheese. You know, now at 9 I was making stovetop mac and cheese. But later on, I learned how to make grown people mac and cheese. Been killing it since. You know. So I went to the Army at 17, made rank real fast and did my thing. And then I realized that you could be more than just a cook out there. So I went on and started a restaurant. And I'm talking 23 years old, not knowing nothing about restaurant.
Okay, back up. Stop the presses. We're going back up just a little bit. I'll get to the restaurant. Let me see. You started a restaurant. Did you start it in Chicago?
No.
Well, stop. I don't want to go there yet. We're going to go there. We're going to get to that restaurant. Don't forget, though, to start there when we come around.
Forget.
Take me back to Chicago. Where did you grow up in Chicago?
So I grew up on the south side, 103rd Street. My dad had barbershops, so I've always been around entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And went to school there. When my parents got just a little piece of money, they bought a house in the suburbs called Riverdale.
Riverdale? Okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Riverdale, Illinois. We moved out there and stayed for years. Stayed until I graduated high school. Okay.
I know a little bit about Chicago. I told you I did a little bit of business up there last couple of years. I was had some stuff over in Woodlawn and over in Inglewood. So I know Chicago.
You definitely know Chicago if you know Inglewood.
If I know Inglewood, I know Chicago. Look, I ain't going to say what I was going to say. But I love Chicago. Great city. Great place to hang out. So you said as a child, let me ask you this. Did you know that you wanted to cook as a child? You were already cooking, you said, but did you know, you was like, at 9 years old, you were like, this is my thing?
At 9 years old, I knew this was my thing. At 9 years old.
See, that's a beautiful thing, because most people don't get that. You know how many people I see struggling at 30 years old trying to figure out what is my thing? What is my gift? Where am I going with that? But you knew it at young of age.
I knew. I knew that was something I was good at. I didn't know if that was all.
Right.
I didn't know if that was going to be my everything, but I knew that was something that I was good at. And get this, I was a realist even as a child. You know, a lot of kids, when you ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they say, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I knew I didn't want to be a doctor because I knew I wasn't going to go to school that long. Right. You know, I said, no, I don't want to do that. Right. I want to be a lawyer. Oh, I didn't want to be a doctor because I don't like blood either. Yeah, I said, I said to myself, you don't even like blood. You don't have to be nobody's doctor. Right. You know, lawyer. I said to do schooling, then have to do some more schooling and some extra years, and I knew I didn't want to do that. You know, I knew I was a busybody, so I didn't want to sit in the classroom. I didn't want to have to study. You know. Now,
were you a good student though when you were in school?
I was a good student.
Were you? Okay.
I was a good student.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I didn't get all A's, but I was a good student. Yes.
I got you. So you knew you were going to cook. You knew you had that gift in you. You were a pretty good student, and then you decided to go into the military.
Yes.
What was your, well, obviously you said you were cooking.
Yeah, 92 Golf.
That's what that is. So I was 92B in the Army, so, but anyway, 92 Golf.
Well, you know, 92 Bravo, that was, never mind. I was going to say that was from back in the day.
That's lab tech. Okay. I worked at the hospital. I guess that's why I wore my uniform today, but anyway, I worked in the hospital. But so you went on in the Army. What was your first duty station after basic training they got to you?
My first duty station was Fort Drum.
New York.
Fort Drum, New York.
Up in the Cove.
You couldn't pay me to go back.
Go on up there. Go up there.
When I first arrived, there was an ice storm. I went there during the middle of an ice storm. And I said, this is what I got to deal with for the next 3 years? Like snow up to my waist. It was crazy.
So how long did you stay in? What was your?
I stayed in 6 years.
6 years, okay. And what'd you come out as? What was your rank when you came out?
Staff sergeant.
Staff sergeant.
Yeah.
So you was running somebody's hall somewhere, right?
I was.
Okay.
And I was, you know, I was always the youngest because again, I went in when I was 17, so I was young. So I felt like I had to go out of my way to be respectful so that I can get respect.
So was Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, your last duty station?
You know what? I was never stationed at Fort Bragg.
Okay, we got to back all the way up there.
I just ended up
here. How you end up in Fayetteville? Look.
So I have two sisters who are also military. Okay. And they were this way. One was at Fort Jackson. One was here at Fort Bragg. Okay. And I decided Fort Bragg.
I know one of your sisters. Was she military? Or was it?
Yes.
That's okay. The one. Does she still work with you?
No.
She doesn't? Okay. No. I hadn't seen her.
That was so many years ago. She actually just retired.
It's been a decade ago. Yeah, it's been over a decade.
She's retired.
Yeah,
and,
okay. But she was here, and that's how you ended up here.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were stationed here or something.
No,
you never stationed.
I just ended up here.
Okay, so when you finished, when you got out of the military, you moved here. Did you open the first restaurant here, or was that somewhere else?
No, I opened my first restaurant in Maryland. I was actually stationed.
Okay, I got you. All right, you stationed up there.
So you know what? There's so many layers to my life. Right. You know, right. Exactly. And so I was a military spouse. Okay. And so I was stationed at Fort Meade. Okay, gotcha. Familiar. And from there, I went to Fort Detrick, which is also still in Maryland. And I just decided to get out so that I can run my restaurant full time. So you opened a restaurant. What type of restaurant did you open in Maryland? Fort Meade. Where was it? What city was it in that you had? Hagerstown, Maryland. Hagerstown. Okay. Yes. All right. It was a chicken wing joint. Really? You know, it was literally one of those chicken wing spots where you say it was chicken wings and things. Okay. And so we had the wings and we had the things. I got you. All right, I got you. So she started off with the wings, and now we all the way to the wings and waffles. Yeah. But anyway, I ain't gonna tell it all. You know, I've always loved chicken, so I made sure that fried chicken was on every menu I had. There's nothing wrong with it. Listen, at this section we call "Let's Get Down to Business." So now I want you to tell me about. I heard a little bit about how you started the first restaurant. Talk to me now about what's happening now. Talk to me about the businesses. The business. But you know, I want the main stuff first. Now the food stuff first. We got to have that first. Okay. We'll get to everything, but. Uptown's Chicken and Waffles. Talk. I started Uptown's Chicken and Waffles because a friend of mine, although I already had two restaurants fully operational, my friend came and said, let's open a restaurant, as if I didn't already have restaurants going on. Right. And I said, okay, because I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always been like, what can I do to make some money? What can I do to utilize my skill so that I'll never be broke again? You know? And so I was interested. I said, what kind of restaurant? He said, chicken and waffles. I said, chicken and waffles? Now, I love chicken and waffles. I would, you know, we would actually go and eat at Dames, or we would go to, go out of town just to get something to eat, just being greedy. But as a foodie, that's what I love, And so I support other small businesses. I support other mom and pop shops. So I said, okay, well, what are you thinking? Something small. He said, yeah, maybe 25 seats. I said, no, I done been there, done that. We can't do 25 seats. If we're doing chicken and waffles, they're gonna be out the door. We need something big.
I get you.
So Rashawn Moore, he said, well, how about we just find a building, we look into it, and we looked around, and we decided Striker Golf Course, because I already had the contract there.
Almost, I got you.
And so it was like, what better than to connect with Fort Bragg and do chicken and waffles?
Gotcha.
To me, that was a win-win. It was a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we got the approval, and this was almost 4 years ago now.
Okay.
We got the approval. We went there. We were open 7 days a week at that location. 7 days a week.
I don't know how you was doing it, because I'm not doing it.
Built a strong team. Built a strong team, because I can't do it by myself.
Gotcha.
I've been there, done that, tried to do it by myself, and I realized the only thing that comes from that is burnout.
Right.
Absolutely. I don't want to do that.
So you ain't want to do it.
I don't want to do that. So I had to learn balance in there, though. We'll talk about that along the way.
Absolutely. That's a question for you. I definitely want to ask you.
Yeah. And so we got to a point where now, business is booming. Folks are waiting 2-3 hours. Jeez. What can we do next? And then we wanted to add mimosa, so that means you had to have a little liquor. You had to have, and so that means we had to have a liquor license. Right. So now we can't do that on Fort Bragg. Oh. We got to look for something.
Is that what that was?
In the Fayetteville, yeah. So we outgrew the space.
I got you.
And
I didn't know how that went.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yep. So we outgrew the space. Went on over to Ramada. I had already been talking to the folks that own Ramada Plaza about the location that we're currently in, and they wanted me to come over there just as bad as I needed a location.
Gotcha. And
so we worked out a deal with them, and it's been 3.5, getting ready to be 4 years over at that location.
It stays busy. I came by there a time today. I came through, coming from the bank. It might have been 2:00 and the parking lot was packed. I'm like, man, she smashed. I wish I had been that partner. It's like you. I knew you since 11. Look, let's do some chicken and waffles. I wish I had thought about it.
I'm telling you.
And I had always said somebody needs to do chicken and waffles in our city.
Wow, it's so crazy how just an idea, can make somebody millions of dollars.
Y'all heard
just
that,
an idea.
An idea can make you millions of dollars.
One
idea, guys.
One idea. This wasn't something that we had to go out and, now we did our research.
Right.
We already knew how to eat. Right. I already knew how to cook.
Right.
He already knew the marketing portion.
Gotcha.
Bring that together and let's put it on the table and see what other components do we need in order to make sure we have a strong foundation.
Absolutely.
Well, guess what? Neither one of us drink. So we needed to go out and get a big dog.
Gotcha.
We needed someone that can come in, that can curate drink menus, that new drinks, that know. And so that's what we had to do, and that's where we brought our general manager
Guys,
in.
did y'all hear that? Go out and hire the expertise for these spaces that you need, because a lot of people miss that. They were trying to do everything themselves.
I'm a believer that iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
And if I'm weak at something, I'm looking for somebody who's strong at it, and vice versa. And together, and if we realize that if our people ever really get that, we would be a force. I'm talking.
You're preaching now. See, oftentimes we allow our egos. This is my business. I'm the only one who can do this, do that, and the other, and it hinders us. It hinders us. What you're saying, that iron sharpens iron, is absolutely the way. It took me a while to learn that, but if you're able to build a team as an entrepreneur, you can't be stopped. It's almost impossible to be stopped. You got too many skill sets in the mix.
Absolutely. Then one thing we also have to realize is we can't do everything by ourselves.
Can't do it.
You can't do it. And if you can, guess what? It takes so much of the load off when you have help.
And what is the purpose of doing everything by yourself?
What do you gain from that?
There's no benefit in that. Killing yourself.
Exactly. I don't gain anything from, no, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to make all the money. Well, what are you going to do when, you can't even go spend the money because now you're so stressed out. Now you're always working. And I used to be a workaholic. I was working 7 days a week, and I'm
grinding.
Yeah, I'm grinding. I'm chasing the bag, and I'm all the things that the young people say that sounds good. When in reality, no, you have to think smart. There comes a time where you got to think smart.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this: how many restaurants do you have now? Do you have anything else outside of Uptowns right now?
I do not have anything.
You got rid of
outside
all the other stuff.
I got rid of. Let me tell you why.
Because you had, how many did you have at one time?
I had 7 right before the pandemic.
Goodness.
Had
My
7
God.
locations, and although they were making money and it was profitable and everything, but I found myself working a lot. I found myself having the stress that I didn't want, didn't need, didn't desire, and then I also felt like I was stretching myself too thin. You know, so there comes a point where you also have to take a look. You step back, take a look. Okay, what am I gaining and what am I profiting? You know, and then what am I losing? Because guess what? If I'm doing all of this, I'm losing something somewhere.
Absolutely.
Whether that's time. You know, my time is valuable.
Absolutely.
And I had to realize that. But as we grow, you know, as you go, you learn.
Absolutely.
You realize, okay, I don't have to do all of this, you know, and I didn't mind shutting them down. I didn't mind, you know, wondering what people were going to say. And that's another thing that our people have. We worry about what people are going to say.
Listen,
you know,
I'm a little older than you at this point in life, but I learned many years ago, I don't care what people got to say. If you can get that right there, you can do anything.
And that's the attitude you have to take on. You have to do what's going to work for the business. And then you have to also figure what's going to work for you. Okay, you know, what's going to work for Judy at this point? You know, I can say, oh, I have these businesses and I can say I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But at the end of the day, I'm working so much, I can't even spend the money. Exactly. I'm working so much, that's no good. You know, I'm working so much, I'm getting sick, you know.
Are there any plans to have any other Uptowns?
Yes. So the goal,
we're getting somewhere now.
The goal is definitely to open an Uptown's Chicken and Waffles in Charlotte. I would love to go to Atlanta. Atlanta
gonna do what it do too.
You know, I got some money there.
You'll win there. You will even with the other chicken and waffle places there. You will win there. Yeah, there's no doubt. You can't tell me you won't.
I wholeheartly believe that. Yeah. And so once the pandemic hit, you know, it was just kind of like, okay, step back and just realign. You know. Let's take our time, because right now we know that it's sky high as far as you know, the rents and the lease and, you know, things like that. Real estate is just crazy right now, so I can wait it out because I'm doing other things. So I don't feel so rushed. You know, when I was younger, it's like,
you've been, let's go get it. Yeah, I get you.
Before it was, no, I gotta do it. I gotta strike while the iron's hot. Now I'm like, I'm getting older. I don't want to do all that ripping and running. I've been there, done that. I paid my dues.
So also in your business, you have the catering side. You still have the catering side, right?
Let me cater to you. Still cater full time.
Talk to me about that catering. Talk to me about, because catering, I think, is a sweet business.
Catering is. Now, I've been catering for 15 years in the Fayetteville area. And before that, I was a catering chef at Fayetteville State University.
Right. I remember
for Aramark.
I remember that. I remember. Jesus
I was
Christ.
there for a couple years, and you know, I got promoted, and that was a big deal. It was, you know, production manager. I'm doing all these great things. I have 65 employees with 65 different issues, and you know, now I'm working 70, 75 hours a week. I ain't signed up for that, you know? Right. So there came a point where it's like, okay, it's time to go ahead and do your own thing. Okay. You know what I did? I saved my money. I start working behind the scenes. I'm making websites. Notes, folks. Take notes. She's giving you the game right here. I'm telling you, I would save my money, and then I would put a portion to the side for my new business. Okay. You know, I start ordering my business cards. I went ahead and made my website. I didn't know nothing about these things, you know. Now, when I say I didn't know anything, I'm talking about the behind the scenes. So before I would get somebody else to do it. Now I got my hands in it because I want to learn it. Gotcha. You know, once you learn something, can't nobody take that away from you. You know. So
let me ask you this: when you started, how much money did you start that catering business with? Do you remember?
Ooh, let me cater to you. I want to say I started with $2,000.
A couple. What's a couple? What's a couple, Judy? Talk to the people.
What's a couple was no more than 3.
Are you listening?
I literally, it wasn't like I was out here rich. Gotcha. You know, but again, when I tell you I saved, you know, so I took, of course, I paid what I needed to pay, my bills and things like that. Then I would take a portion, I would go ahead and put in savings. I would take a portion and I would go ahead and put toward the business. So if that meant this week, I'm buying my utensils. If that's next week, I'm buying my pots and pans. The following week, I may buy chafing dishes, you know.
And it's safe to say that business has done millions of revenue.
Absolutely. The very first year, let me tell you the funniest thing.
Judy, talk to the people.
The funniest thing that happened, when I think back, it's so crazy. So once I left Fayetteville State, I did it the right way. It's important that you leave the right way and make sure you don't ruin relationships.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's so important in business. I think oftentimes people, you know, feel like, well, forget them, forget that. You need people.
Absolutely.
And so, although I only needed to put in a 2-week notice, I knew I was a good worker. So I knew I needed to give them 30 days to get somebody good in, because I wanted them to have someone good, you know. So I gave them a 30-day notice, right? From there, you know, they sent me out with the bang, you know, nice party and everything. I turned right around and put in to become a caterer on campus. Okay. So now there's Earmark Catering and there's Let Me Cater to You Catering. Okay. The very first year, I made $42,000 off of catering alone. That was maybe working 1 day a week. The rest of the days, I had my feet kicked up watching TV. You know. Now the kicker is that was the same amount that I was making when I left Fayetteville State.
You walk right into it. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So it's like, I left from working, you know, that 75, sometimes 80 hours a week to where now I can cater, I can work once or twice a week and still be okay. So because I'm ambitious, the following year, I said, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, let me see if I can make 70,000. You know what I did? Because I believe in crushing your goals, I made 70,000. The following year, I said, if I could make 70, now that means now I can't sit back and watch Mario on TV. I can't sit back and be silly. Now I got to get out there and work, right? So I want to make $100,000 this year. What do I need to do? Now I'm talking to myself. You know, I still have those pep talk.
That's right.
You know, you got to talk to yourself sometimes.
Giving them the game.
I want to make $100,000 this year. What do I need to do? How can I get the money that I'm making from FSU? How can I get the money that I'm making from the community? What do I need to do to pull in the larger sums? I sat there, came up with the game plan, and that following year, I've been making 6 figures, and I've made no less than 6 or 7 figures since.
On that, just off of that.
Off catering.
That's crazy.
You know, ain't that crazy?
That's crazy.
And you know what? I didn't know anything about catering growing up. You know, I knew nothing. All I knew is that I like cooking. And I can remember when I was 19 years old, I went to the doctor one day. And my doctor said, well, you know, what do you want to do? What do you want to do when you get out the military? And, you know, I'm like, I want to cook. And she said, so you want to cook for the rest of your life? It's such a derogatory, like, you know,
absolutely talking down.
manner.
Yeah, people are off the charts.
She said, so you want to cook for the rest of your life? That could have broke me. What if what she said made me choose a different career path?
That has broken a lot of people too.
It really has.
Those simple,
you
small
have
words
to watch
of other
your
people.
words.
Yeah.
Watch what you put out there.
Absolutely.
But instead, you know, it's like, I wish I could meet her now. I wish I could.
You
know,
look at me now.
Because here's the deal. Now we're talking. My 4th year in, I'm making what a doctor made.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
and so you know, again, we have to watch our words. But so Let Me Cater to You just turned 15 years old in November. And I'm telling you, it's been such a blessing, not only to me, but to the community. Right. You know, because I mean, I'm still out and about. I'm doing things. I'm going when I can. But not only that, I'm able to now leverage my time. Gotcha. Whereas before I'm working. I'm hustling. I'm here, there, everywhere. I don't have to do that now. And I'm so appreciative.
Gotcha. So I know is most of your catering here in this local area?
Most of the catering is in the Fayetteville, North Carolina area. However, I do travel, and so that's a nice portion as well. Okay, so you haven't thought, I ain't gonna say haven't thought, you haven't considered scaling outside of the Fayetteville market? I have not. Like you're thinking about with the chicken and waffles? I haven't with catering, because catering is still, you know, although it's 15 years old, it's still my baby. I got you. And you want to be on it. You want to see it. So I want to be able to see, touch, and I know that people like the personal touch. So if I show up, you know, if I'm going to tell a bride and groom, hello, congratulations, that means a lot to me.
I get it. So those are the things we're doing in the food space right now.
Yes.
Go ahead. What else? What else we got? You want to talk about, Judy? Any other things you want to talk about? Tell the people.
few years back, maybe about 3 or 4 years, I started seeing this buzz online talking about Airbnb and short-term rentals and things like that. I'm like, I can do that. I already have the hospitality piece down. I love people. I love food. Well then, let me build my coins and see what I can do. In 3 years, I purchased 3 properties cash.
Okay.
And when I tell you, that's been a blessing all by itself, to be able to do that now. Not only do I have something to leave to my daughter and to my grandbaby, but then, I also have an opportunity to make money every day.
I got you.
Every day.
That's insane. So you're staying booked up, obviously. You're a super host, I would assume. That's a little bit, I know a little bit of the language. I don't do Airbnb, but you're a super host, I would assume.
Super host, and I'm keeping busy. And then from there, I was able to show others, meaning I made money off of that. So I became a Airbnb ambassador.
Really?
And so it's not about Airbnb. It's really my short-term rental business.
I got you.
But I know that most folks can relate to Airbnb because that's just kind of the thing. But yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you this. Are there any specific challenges that you're going through right now since we're just coming out of the pandemic as far as the restaurant business or the catering business is going right now?
I would say the biggest challenge is what most folks...
I know what you're getting ready to say. Go ahead.
Finding good staff that really want to work and that have your heart. When I was a smaller business, everyone could tell that your staff have your heart. But as you grow, and now I have 50-something employees, everyone won't have... They won't have my heart. It's just not going to, and you can train and you can do all those great things, but people are still going to be people, And when you talk about full service workers, I always ask for grace. I ask for folks to extend the same grace that they may one day need, because we want to talk bad to full service workers and things like that. They may be stressed out, and so you just never know what. And so full service is already a high turnover business anyway. And so we try to retain our folks by making it a pleasant work environment and making sure we treat people with respect and taking care of ours.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this: which side of the business do you like the most, the catering side or the restaurant side, and why?
Ooh. Catering, I absolutely love it because I can pick and choose my client.
You can.
Restaurant, I can't because I don't have to take everything with catering.
That's true.
Restaurant, you don't know who's going to come through the doors. It may be someone coming to have a business meeting, and it also may be someone coming with pajamas and a bonnet on, And so you just can't.
We've seen that.
Yes, you can't control it. And so, they both have their different entities. Sometimes catering can be more lucrative because you make your money in a couple hours and you can be okay for the week. Restaurant, it takes you. You may have to feed 500 folks. Well, out of those 500, what if 3 or 4 people don't like their food? And so, they both have their different.
Back to the plans for scaling the chicken and waffle business. What's the timeline on that? What are you guys looking at?
So we're hoping in the next couple years. I don't know exactly, and I say that because right now, where we were looking, you're talking $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 just to lease a restaurant, and so that's just not a gamble I'm willing to take right now.
Have you considered the food halls down there? Because the reason I say that, I know a guy, let me put it this way, I know a guy doing cheesesteaks down there in food halls. He's killing the game.
I've considered a food hall.
I've considered the food hall.
I've also considered owning the food hall.
I know that. I know where you get ready to go because I'm going with you. But anyway, I'm a partner with you on that joint. But anyway, I knew where you were going.
It goes over so well in the bigger cities, and so I think it's a good idea.
Why don't we have one here?
I don't know.
No, I ain't gonna put you on the spot on that.
The only thing, because I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, I don't want you getting in trouble.
But I will.
I want you getting in trouble.
We're gonna talk about that later.
Off the joke. We'll talk about that later. But I know, like I said, I know a guy down there that's killing it with cheesesteaks. He started off in a food hall. The next round, a meal in the first year with cheesesteaks and French fries. The next year, like in the last 3 years. The next year, built out a food hall. Put his cheesesteaks in there. Food hall blew up. Building his second food hall now.
Wow.
And I know someone from the area that's getting ready to put one of their businesses in the food hall.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
And let me tell you,
crazy.
There's so much money to be made, though, and that's why you will never see me talk bad about a small business,
Absolutely
a small restaurant.
Absolutely
you know,
not.
there's it's a lot out there, and so when you think about like the naysayers and people who will try to discourage you, look at those people who are doing it and who's making a way, and those who are, you're like, wow, who would have thought you can make $1 million selling cheesesteaks and French fries? But people doing it, they're doing it.
They're gonna have me selling some cheesesteaks after a while. Y'all over there laughing.
I'm telling you, it's so much out there, and so my take on it is nobody should be broke at this point.
Right.
Because YouTube is teaching us how to how to make money, how to utilize our skills.
I've heard a couple of people say that. A lot of the some of the influencers is like, listen, it's so much information available now to you. If you can't make no money now, you're not trying to make any money.
That
it's
would just be an
scary to
excuse.
say, but it's very true. It's true. I have to agree with that statement.
It is. And I tell folks, and if you're around me and you're not, that's your fault, because I'm always giving information. Right. I've never been, a gatekeeper. I'm not gonna, no, I want the folks around me to be successful. I want you to get it, because if you got it, then I don't have to worry about you wanting something mine. So let's all get it. Let's all get it. Let's get it together. And, therefore, the ones that's left behind are people who choose to be.
Right.
Sometimes people make a decision.
Right. Absolutely.
Not to be.
Absolutely.
And those aren't the people I take their hand, But the folks who want it, come get it, and let's get it together.
There you go. Look, let me ask you about, since you're doing so many things, talk to me a little bit about the balance of life and work.
Wow.
Talk to me. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but prior to the show. Life
balance. That's so important. I can remember times where I literally worked 32 days straight. Ooh. And I thought that, I'm not going to say it was a badge of honor, but I thought that was just the most amazing thing. And then at the end of the 32nd day, my voice gone because my body done gave all it had to give. Absolutely. My body shutting down. I'm tired. Not cool. It is so not cool. And so I had to learn, you don't have to always be there. You don't have to always show up. You don't have to, while people appreciate your presence, you can't be everywhere and everything to everybody. You can't. And so in that, I learned not only the work-life balance, but I learned self-care in that. I learned if you don't take care of yourself, all this stuff means nothing.
Don't mean a thing.
It don't.
Mean a thing. Absolutely.
And so one of the things I decided for myself was start taking some time off. And I had to, at first it was very difficult because I was used to working. I had to make myself, nope, I'm not going to work today. I'm not going to go in. I'm not going to do it, And
ready to go every day.
Still ready to go. Still ready to go. And when I didn't go, I'm looking on the cameras. Let me see what they're doing, because, a lot of times we don't want to let go. We don't want to lose control. We don't want to feel like, we don't have our hands in everything, but you don't have to have your hands in everything in order to be successful.
I love it. Let me ask you this, like I said, you're doing so many things. What is it that you do I ask people, either a morning routine or an evening routine? Because I'm not a morning person. So I have a struggle with the morning. I'm fighting. I'm mad at 5 a.m. Don't talk to me. So I ask people, do you either have a morning or evening routine? And if so, what is that?
I do have a morning routine. So every morning I'm up no later than 6 o'clock.
Okay, that's not bad. I can handle that.
I'm an early morning person. Okay. So my body won't even let me sleep in past 6 o'clock. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is pray. I'm going to pray, and then I'm going to do my affirmations. And sometimes I don't care if it's just laying down. I know some people will get up and they look in the mirror and they got to tell themselves in the mirror, this is what you are, and that type of thing. Sometimes I might just lay up at the ceiling and I'm telling myself, today going to be a great day. We're going to make today great on purpose. I don't care what comes my way. Today is gonna be I'm gonna make such amount of money today. I'm gonna run into this person who gonna lead me to the person I need to meet. That's gonna help me make my next $1 million. I'm gonna be, and you know what? I believe it.
Let me ask you this: where did you learn this? How did you learn these things that you're talking about now? Because a lot of people missing it.
You know what? If I had to be honest, some of it social media. Some of it just kind of it being a part of what I do and who I am. So it's like, no, I'm telling myself these things, and I'm also telling myself things that that are true to who I am, you know? So I don't set unrealistic goals.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And if I do, it's something that's just, you know, it gotta make sense.
Yeah,
you
to
know?
you. I get it. I get it.
Like, because I don't like a bunch of silly stuff.
I'm going to make $1 billion next week.
Right. You know, so no, we're not gonna say that.
Right.
But what we are gonna say is, let's get to where we can get to, and then once we get there, okay, let's get to more. You know, when I wanted 6 figures, I said I want 6 figures. I want to make $100,000. You know, when I wanted to make $1 million, I used to say to myself, "You will be the first millionaire in your family." Absolutely. I meant that thing, and I made sure it came true. Listen. You know, and so
and you spoke it with that passion, because I can hear it now. You still get it's right there.
It's there. You know, because oftentimes we don't believe in ourselves, or we don't even believe that we can do it. We don't believe that we deserve it, and we also don't believe that we can have it. You know, imagine if we turned that thing around like, I deserve this. Right. I worked hard. Those days where I worked 32 days straight, now I can go on vacation and chill, because when I was working 32 days straight, I didn't splurge my money off. Right. You know what I'm saying? I put it up. I made investments. I did some of the right things. And so oftentimes, you know, we want these things, but when you get it, can God trust you to even do what you're supposed to do with it?
She's preaching, y'all. You know? She back over here preaching.
Now, I didn't even come here to preach today. But, you know,
but you think about it. My dad's a retired pastor, but he always talks about, he used to drill in me, the renewing of the mind. So you got to saturate your mind. You got to get to the point of saturation. Once you get to the point of saturation, you can have that breakthrough in whatever you're talking about. I was looking at some studies the other day. They were talking about affirmations, and they were saying with 21 days of repeating your affirmations 3 days a week, 3 times a day. 3 times a day. That's right. 3 times a day for 21 days. You literally begin to change the subconscious. The subconscious cannot do anything but be magnetized to those statements over that time period.
Isn't it amazing how the mind works, though? Yeah, you know, and so if we would put that same passion toward whatever we want. Now, I'm passionate when it comes to all things entrepreneur, all things small business, because I know how difficult it can be. So people may see the success side of it, you know, but they weren't there when, you know, my mom got into a car accident, and I'm at a wedding catering, and I get a phone call saying, your mom is dead. Wow. You know, they weren't there when I still had to serve that bride and groom, knowing I had this going on. You know what I'm saying?
That's heavy, Judy.
Those type of things, you know, can only come from the strength of God. But, you know, but when it's in you, then you do what you have to do, and you know, and so they weren't there to see some of the other things that I've been through, to, you know, to understand this is why she's the way she is, and, you know.
And you need to understand this is why you're blessed in what you're doing.
Exactly, you know what I mean? So I never stopped. You know, I never, you know, it's
that
like,
right there would have took most people out.
It would have.
I'm done.
It would
I'm
have.
through with it.
And guess what? Just two years prior to that, my father had throat cancer. They gave him a couple months to live. He lived 6 months. But when I tell you, you know, when you see these type of things, you either gonna break, you know, or you gonna go, you know. And my thing has always been, every time I felt like my back was up against the wall, or every time I felt like, you know, wow, what's next, or I don't know if I can make it, you know, I fell forward. And most people, you know, when they fall, hit their head to the back.
On the floor screaming and rolling
every
around.
Every time I fall, I'm falling forward. You can believe
it.
that. And so before it was accidents. Now it's, if I fall, I know to lean forward, because I know, you know what I'm saying? That's I gotta keep going.
It's you now. At this point, it's you.
It is, you know. So I love talking to entrepreneurs, because again, I know the rough side of things. I know what it feels like to, you know, wonder how we gonna, you know, meet payroll this week. I know what it feels like, you know. You know, I know what it feels to say, okay, you know, business is slow this week. What I'm gonna do for next week? You know
what it feels like to not get a paycheck for the next 2 weeks, because everybody else got to get there.
I'm telling you, I know how it feels to not get paid, because I want to make sure my staff is paid. You know, so when I tell you I get it, you know, and that's why I always encourage entrepreneurs, because on the other side it's so much sweeter, you know. And so, you know, just keep pushing. If entrepreneurship is for you, then You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's something in you that won't let you stop.
Absolutely.
It's something in you that won't let you quit. And, it won't let you fail. And even if it feels like failure, that's still cool. Like, because we have to fall in order to win. Like,
you got to fail. People got to understand those failures are just stepping stones to where you got to go to.
I don't know any winner that didn't fall first.
They're learning lessons. That's all. What did I learn today from getting my head knocked off?
Yeah.
And I know I talked to a lot of entrepreneurs, people starting up, and I'll tell them, go ahead out and fail now. Go on and start early failing. I done failed so many times, up and down, up and down.
Both.
This is what business is. It's up. It's down. It's up. It's down. I'm riding a roller coaster.
That's it. 1 minute, I'm on top of the world.
Yeah,
I got
it definitely is.
This is it.
It definitely
and then the
is.
next minute, it's like, man, I don't even know if I should be. Am I really supposed to even be doing this?
That's
but
so
that's
true.
Entrepreneurship.
That's what it is.
But I love it though.
So
The good, the bad, the indifferent, the crazy times. It's like I still wouldn't trade it in because it's who I am.
Exactly.
And let me tell you a crazy thing. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, and I talked about never stop learning and things like that, sometimes you don't even have to go to school to be able to learn. Life will teach you some things.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've been cooking. Everybody knows I love cooking and I love people. And, those things go hand in hand. I'm a natural at that. Well, when I start to do other things, it's like, oh, she's doing that now?
Oh, yeah, they're always going to lock you in the box now.
Right. And
what
so I refuse. I refuse to be,
some stories for you.
Stuck in the box. I refuse.
For you.
Right. And so let me tell you about something I have coming up, right? And I haven't even released this yet.
Oh, we're getting it.
And so you
Wealth 100 exclusive. Ding, 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 ding.
Listen,
talk to them, Chef. Talk that talk.
Most entrepreneurs I know have said in the past, I will never work for someone else another day in my life, right?
Right, yeah.
Most entrepreneurs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me tell you what I decided to do. I said, I want to learn production. I want to learn the behind the scenes of not just food, but just how things come together, how it once it's in the studio, the behind the scenes and things like that, right?
Okay.
Now, I'm in my 40s now. I know I don't feel like going to school. I don't want to.
No, nobody want to do that.
And it's not that I don't have the discipline. I just don't want to do it.
No, I'm with you on that.
I don't have to, so I'm not
we're
going
in
to
agreement.
do it. I decided that I'm going to go ahead and work so that I can learn it. In 2 days, I will be going to Santa Rosa, California, working for Food Network, working for Guys Grocery Games in production.
Talk to him.
Talk
to him.
And so, whereas most people would say, I'm never going to do that, what if I go and learn what I need to learn, and now that's a whole other stream of income?
I already know where it's going. We got to hook up because I already know where we're going. Look. I already know where we're going with this. I love it. Congratulations. Congratulations, though. Seriously. I love that.
So much.
I love it.
And
absolutely.
So my things are, if I'm already, creating reels and I'm already doing this Facebook and Instagram thing and social media,
Judy.
Why wouldn't I go and learn those things so that I can get better? Because not only is it going to help me and my brand, then it's going to help me make a little extra money.
I'm loving it. So how long is this process going to be with him?
So this is going to be a 14-day.
14 days?
This is 14 days.
Behind the scenes, the whole nine.
Yes. And so I'll get a chance to see the other talent where I've been on the other side competing
the camera,
and things like that. I'll get a chance to be behind the scenes and watch them do what they do and just kind of learn it. But that's pretty cool. And get paid from it. And I'm still getting paid from each one of my businesses. You can't beat that.
Let me say this, young black lady, you are blazing a trail in this space. And I need my other sisters out here, gentlemen also. You guys need to follow Chef Judy. I'm telling you, blazing a trail. We already know where it's going. I already know where it's going. You ain't leaving me. We going to Hollywood. Let's go.
I'm telling you. And so it's just so crazy how, opportunities can come at you and it's like, wow, I was just a little black girl from Chicago, never knowing that I could be in these spaces. Exactly. And I often say I love it here.
And somebody told me this. I knew a guy, he was worth $100 million. And he told me, we were sitting in the room, he's like, George, you belong in the room. And that's where we mess up a lot of times. We get that imposter syndrome. I'm just from Fayetteville, North Carolina. What in the world am I doing here? I'm just a little black girl from Chicago. It's already laid out. You belong in the spaces. Why can't we control some of these spaces? I'm all about ownership. I already know where you're going. I can't wait to see this play out. I can't wait to see this play out. Look, we're going to talk a little bit about impact and influence as we get closer to the end of this. Talk to me about who influenced you the most in this space over this journey, or what might have influenced you.
Wow. Who influenced me? I would definitely say my parents. Both of my parents were entrepreneurs, especially my dad. My dad had barbershops in Chicago. But my dad never really attained the level of success that I think he hoped for.
Right,
you know, and that's a lot of folks' stories who didn't have.
That is the story.
They didn't have, whether it was the mentorship, the education, the guidance, whatever their story was. My dad was he was a Marine. And from there, he went on to do some other things. But when I came along, he was doing barbershop,
I got you.
And so we were the barbershop, where we're talking how the movie where they're coming in selling things. They're having these conversations. My dad had great people around him. He didn't let the men cuss in front of his children.
Wow.
I'm telling you, he had a barbershop. He had a pool table in the back. Always had a pool table or some games or Miss Pac-Man or things like that to make sure his children was taken care of. But at the same time, I learned entrepreneurship from him, even in his failures or even in his lack, because when he wasn't making the money that he hoped to make, I saw him close his barbershop and go down and work for one of his other friends, cleaning his restaurant. I saw him going to DJ gigs to make side money. Just things like that. And so I would have to say, although he may not have taken me by the hand and say, this is what I need you to do. You need to do this, that, and the other. But just watching from an early age, the influence was already there.
I love it.
The other entrepreneurs that was right in the same shopping center, watching them, whether it was the good things or the things that I would do different.
Right, I wouldn't do that.
Right, that was my business. I wouldn't do that. But that's the beauty of you being able to have your thing.
Right, exactly.
You make your own policies.
I get you.
And so when people are mad about my policies, you know what I'm saying? It's my policy, though. This is mine. Now, when you open yours, you can do what you want.
Your policy.
Now people don't like when you talk like that, but that's just real talk.
Yeah, we get offended. Our community can get offended when it comes to those things.
Oftentimes, but everybody else make their policies, and
you gonna follow them or you gonna bounce.
That's it. And so we're harder on each other. Yeah, but that's another. But
we're talking about black people. If y'all don't know, if I got any of my other friends in here.
Definitely. And so, but I love us.
Right.
Now, I love me some us.
Ain't no doubt about it.
But we can be hard on each other.
Absolutely.
But so I saw different entrepreneurs do things, and I'm like, wow. So I learned from experience. I believe experience is the best teacher. And get this, most of my friends are super educated. I'm talking about they have the bachelor's, they have the master's degrees, they have the doctorates. I don't have any of them. And I'm still making the money.
I got you.
I already know and so again, although education is very important, what I'm saying is align yourself with the right people. And so when we talk about the influence, that was being around good people.
Gotcha.
So when it wasn't my dad, when it came to mentors, when it came to leadership, I was around good people. Gotcha. So whoever the person was, and I don't even want to name names because at this point, I can say that my dad was probably the most influential because, I was raised in the house with my dad. And so it's like I got to see the long days. I got a chance to see, when he was tired, but he still had to push. I got a chance to see him sit up, taking a nap and had to go to another gig, things like that. You can't take that from people.
I got you. It's in you. It's stamped. Look, it's stamped on you at this point. You've been stamped. I get it.
Yep. And you know what? I did the same thing for my daughter. And when my daughter was a teenager, she's 21 now. When she was a teenager, she came to me. She said, "I don't want to be an entrepreneur. Y'all work too hard. Y'all always busy. You're this, that, and the other." And I was like, "Dang, my feelings was hurt." I'm like, "How my own kids?"
That's how it normally goes.
How she don't want to be an entrepreneur, and then she turned 18 and she got a taste of entrepreneurship. And she's been an entrepreneur since.
That's
and at 21 years old, she have 2 businesses. you know.
That's crazy.
And so
what two businesses? Look, we all over. What two businesses?
My daughter owns Sinai Collection, so she have a hairline.
Does she?
And then as well as Sinai Collection, and then Sinai Styles.
Okay.
So she's a cosmetologist.
Is she? Okay. Cool.
So she does hair, makeup, all the girly things.
I got you.
I wasn't the girly girl, so she didn't get that from me.
But
she was born
what she's supposed
with
to get. Yeah, I got it. She got what she's supposed to have.
But she did get she got the grind, she got the hustle, she got the heart, and she got the mindset.
Yeah.
If I do this right here, I can make this right here. And that first couple times around, she was like, whoa, I love this entrepreneurship thing.
I see something. A bell went off.
When it went off, it went off.
Yeah, I get it.
And so I would hope that I would be that influence for her.
I got you.
That she would say, wow, my mom showed me this right here. Showed me that, showed the ropes, and didn't give anything to her. She worked for it.
Let me ask you this. It seems like we're in the season of entrepreneurship, particularly over this last since 18, 19, it's like entrepreneurship has just gone berserk. People used to look down at business owners, but now everybody wants to be a business owner. What advice would you give to that new up and coming person that's ready to get started? What specific advice would you give them as far as getting started? Where do they need to be in their mental space, I would say?
Getting started, get a mentor.
There you go. Boom.
Everybody think we already know everything. We think YouTube done taught us enough to where we can just go and start a business. Get with some folks that know what they're talking about and know what they're doing, and also get with someone who have the fruit. It's one thing to say, oh yeah, this is my mentor. But have they had any level of success?
Gotcha.
Have they shown you a student?
You know what? That drives me crazy. That drives me crazy. I try to frame it without putting out names. I've seen some young entrepreneurs. Oh, so and so is my mentor. I was like, okay, what have they done? Show me. Where's their business? No, that's not your mentor, baby. That's not your mentor. That's something. That's something else. That is not mentorship.
Because I can tell you,
they read a book, but that's not mentorship.
Right. That's way different. The folks that I've mentored. The proof is in the pudding. Because they've now become a success.
I used to have that argument with some of my friends, my MBA friends. No, you got to do this and you got to do that, and they telling you everything. I'm like, dog, excuse me, that don't work in the real world. When you got to, that's theory. That's book theory on some of this stuff. There's some other things you got to know to run a business. Though.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then I would also, just to add to that, remember your why. Sometimes because entrepreneurship is there's gonna be some challenges. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're doing. You're gonna have some type of challenge. Remember your why. And we forget the why sometimes, and then now we're discouraged, we're feeling lost, we don't, remember your why.
It's coming. Let me ask you this. What are some of the mistakes that you see new entrepreneurs make? I'm going to tell you what I see, but tell me what you see.
Mistakes new entrepreneurs make, I would have to say, sometimes they just kind of jump out there because social media is showing us that everybody can be anything they want to be. Donald Trump showed us that he could be president. Can I say that?
This is the Well 100 podcast. If you want to talk about, you talk about what you want to say.
You can be a president.
Absolutely. Did he not?
Did he not? And so sometimes they just jump out there and not have a clue, not do any research. They don't utilize their resources. That just so that's one that I see a lot of. They're thinking that that it just happens overnight and it don't. They don't appreciate or respect the process.
I got you. Exactly.
Everybody, this is microwave generation. We want it and we want it now.
That is so true. I used to rock a little bit with Dr. Eric Thomas. That's one of my mentors. And that was one of his main things. Respect the process. He would preach, respect the process. And I used to be like, yeah, but you're right. Respect the process. Because we want to just be a millionaire in 30 days.
Right, overnight.
It ain't happening. For 99.999% of people, it's not going to happen like that.
Right. Yeah, and think about it, with all these entrepreneurs coming on board now, that just means it's more competition. And we can get cocky and say, what competition? Or ain't no competition. There's going to be some competition out there. Right. Somebody else going to be making what you make. I don't care if you're sewing. I don't care if you're cooking. I don't care. but you do what you have to do.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. What is the most important lesson that you've learned over this entrepreneurial journey?
Oh, most important lesson. There's so many. One of the funny ones that stick out is pay your taxes. Listen, we don't talk about that enough.
Right.
You don't pay your taxes, they coming to get your stuff.
Right.
I'm a witness.
Right.
You know?
And
so sometimes we get to making money and we, whatever, and then they gonna go and take it, and then you gonna be looking silly. You know?
I got you.
But definitely, I joke about that, but I'm serious. You know, we gotta make sure we're taking care of the business side of things, because when we don't, it only set us back. It only put us in the hole, because they're going to come and get there. Their IRS is going to come and get their money.
I got you. Let me ask you this. Do you have an exit plan or an exit number? And you know what I'm talking about when I say number.
I do.
What's it?
Oh, that, you know what? Nobody's ever asked me that question. And that's it's not tough. My goals change sometimes daily.
Sometimes daily. I got
you.
I got you.
I would say my exit plan would definitely be to make sure I'm living well for the rest of my life.
Got you.
And if that entails coming up with, and when I say coming up with, things change so rapidly. Right. So if that's coming up with the game plan so that if Judy gets sick, if I get hurt, if I can't work anymore, I'm gonna be set for the rest of my life. And that's what's important to me. As I get older, I'm like, I don't plan on working hard really anymore. Now I might work a little bit. I'm gonna do kind of what I want, but the grind of the daily grind, I don't desire to do that anymore.
Gotcha. I don't either. I told these guys, I deal with a lot of younger guys in business, and I told them my objective at my age is to work smarter, period. Oh, let me put this group together. Let me put these things together. Ain't no need in doing all that other crazy stuff no more. It's unnecessary. And it took me a long time to learn that. And also, we were talking about earlier, again, talking about building teams.
Right.
It took me so long to just understand that you need to put people around you, because you can't do everything.
It takes a lot of entrepreneurs a while to be able to trust folks, to be able to let go of control. Absolutely. If you think about it, a lot of entrepreneurs, they're stuck in it because they don't really even know how to let go.
That is true.
But sometimes when you let go, that leaves room for you to be able to get a hold of something else. If that something is money, if that something is more opportunities.
I've seen this. I don't know if you've ever done this. I've seen where you had to get rid of a particular business or a particular opportunity in order to get to something better. You know how they say let go of the good to get to the great?
Absolutely.
Because you can be winning right here in the space, but oftentimes you need to let that space go in order to get to that space.
I've had to do that several times. Right. I've let go. But you know what? I learned that from my other friends. I went to a conference.
For those who you don't know what we're talking about.
Listen, I went to a Grant Cardone. Are you familiar with Grant?
Yes, I'm familiar.
I went to one of his conferences some years back, and when I tell you, a couple of those multi-millionaires got up there and they was talking about how once it's no longer serving you, let it go. Oftentimes we as black people, we gonna hold on to it. We don't want to let it go because I built this, and because the people gonna say whatever, they gonna talk anyway. Let it go and build something great, because that could be good and it could be making you money. But what about creating something that could not only make you money, but put you at other tables, to where now you have more resources. Your resources can be those other people that you would never get an opportunity to meet if you stay stuck
in the same spot.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
No, go out there and meet some folks that have the information, because sometimes we won't give the information, right? Because we're not used to that. We don't even know how. You go and listen to them other people in them other rooms, and they talking different.
Oh yeah. They're talking different. Listen, you understand that the Wealth 100 podcast is built around our mastermind called the Wealth 100. Have you participated in any masterminds before?
I participated in one online.
Okay. Okay. What was that experience for you, may I ask?
It was a good experience. It was with Kim Coles. She chose 100.
She did What was she doing? What was her mastermind about?
Shucks. Oh, my goodness. You don't put me on the spot.
I'm sorry. I'm
going to come back to that. But it was good. And so that was my first one. And I was like, well, let me see.
Yeah, I got a chance to meet her at, I think I met her at Traffic Sales and Profit out of Atlanta, TSP. I met her down there. 18. She was doing some stuff. Is she?
She's good.
And I was like, why is she here? And then I heard her talk. I was like, okay, I got you.
Yeah, she's good people, but she also have an entrepreneur's heart. Like, and so it's just like, so although we know her from doing the TV stuff, but she's into some of the same stuff we into. Like, and my goal is when we talk about Mastermind and things like that, my goal on the flip side is to also make money to where people don't even know it's my business. Gotcha. That's really kind of where I'm going. So I own it. You don't even know that's Chef Judy's business, but I'm still reaping the benefits. So that's my.
I love it. Look, as we're getting ready to close, getting close to closing. Talk to me a little bit about what your most important goal is for this season, this year. What is it this year? What is it that you want for this year?
My most important goal would be to work my mind more than working physically. So I really want to get to a place where without having to travel and do these things and go and run, I want to be able to just, and I talk about making money often only because...
Don't be scared.
That's what I like. Yeah, I grew up poor.
We try to make us scared of talking about money, and we need money answers all things. I don't have a problem saying it. I don't have a problem.
And so sometimes people don't want to have that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to have the conversation.
Talk about it.
Because I know that's what's setting my family up. That's what's going to leave my legacy.
Exactly.
So it's going to be the other things.
That's a part of it. Exactly.
But I'm at a point right now where I'm making sure my daughter is situated for the rest of her life, even though she have her own businesses. I have a new grandson. I want to make sure he's situated for the rest of his life. And guess what? Even his grandchildren off of the work that I've done. So whether it's the physical work that I've done or whether it's how I'm getting ready to use my mind this season saying, okay, what can I do to be able to not only make an impact in, financial, but I want to make an impact in people's lives, so whatever that entail. And some of it, I still don't even know. I didn't even know I was going to Santa Rosa, California until a couple weeks ago. So some things it's just gonna be, and I'm in a place where I'm just letting things be. I want to see how it play out.
I got you. Listen, we're gonna end up with 2 more questions, and I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
I know you gotta go get some more money, cook up some chicken and waffles for the people. Listen, since you're in the food industry, if you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would that meal be?
Oh my goodness, this is a crazy question. One meal?
One meal.
Can it be a whole meal or just one item?
No, it's a whole meal. It's an entire meal. What are you gonna have on that plate?
It's gonna have to be some fried chicken.
There you go. I
hope it's fried chicken in heaven, because fried chicken is an important part of my life.
Oh my God.
Fried chicken, some good candy yams. The candy yams gonna have to have a little glaze on them, because I like a little glaze.
We're gonna soul food it out. I see. I see where we're going.
That's what I love. I see
where we're going.
Now I know I should put a vegetable on this plate. But if I gotta eat it for the rest of my life, then it's gonna have to be some mac and cheese.
I was waiting on it.
It's gotta be baked mac and cheese.
That's right.
It's gotta be.
We don't got time for no crabs.
Yeah, I need some butter in it. I need some milk and some cream. I need it cheesy. And then some cornbread. Can I have some cornbread?
You can have a little cornbread.
Okay, so if I could do that, I think I could run on and see what the end gonna be.
Oh, not run on. I believe I run on. See what? Y'all don't know nothing about that, but anyway.
Too young.
You gotta know something about it. Look, I'm cutting up. Last question I want to ask you: if you were to win or receive $20 million today, would you continue or would you cash out?
20 mil. I would continue.
Would you?
I would continue. And I say that because there's still work left for me to do.
Talk. I love it.
So I'm going to have that, but I'm still going to get to my other, because I still got a little bit more left in me. Not a little. I got a lot.
You got a lot, babe.
As I'm approaching my mid-40s, I just still feel like there's a little bit more left that I got to do.
Like 29 when I met you?
Yeah.
You had to be somewhere around there.
Flew by. Now look, I'm a whole grandma.
You don't want to know how old I am now. I'm 54 now, Judy.
Really?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I would at least get you 49.
I'm 54 now. Getting there. Thank you for the 49. Listen, we're going to wrap this thing up. I want to thank you, seriously, from the bottom of my heart for coming in. I always said if I was going to do this, you were going to be on here. So, and I called you and you immediately was like, yo, I'll be there. No problem. Listen, tell the people where they can find you at on social media so we can get ready to close this thing out.
All right. What camera I'm looking at?
Just talk. Just talk. He got you.
All right. So I am Chef Judy, and I can be found right here in the big city of Fayetteville, North Carolina at Uptown's Chicken and Waffles. We're located at 1707 Owen Drive, the old Ramada. And again, Fayetteville, I love Fayetteville, and so I appreciate the folks supporting, the continued support. I can be reached at www.letmecatertoyou.net. You can give me a call at 910-303-9707. Now, that's the business line. Don't call talking about nothing else but business on that line.
I got you.
But definitely, we're at Uptown's Chicken and Waffles, 1707 Owen Drive, Fayetteville, North Carolina. We're open 7 days a week. That's Monday through Sunday from 10 a.m. and we close at 5 on Sundays. The rest of the week, come on out and see us. We have karaoke on Wednesdays. On Fridays, we have a DJ every Friday. We have live music. We have a live band every Saturday. It goes down.
There you go. Where you at on social? Did I hear social?
Social media, I am at Chef Judy everywhere. Instagram, Chef Judy. Facebook, Chef Judy. Snapchat, Chef Judy. Chef Judy everywhere.
Chef Judy everywhere. Chef Judy International, guys. Listen, I thank you guys for tuning in to the Wealth 100 podcast. We love you. We thank you. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Wealth 100 show. Today's show has been sponsored by the Wealth 100 Mastermind. If you're ready to join a tribe of winners, if you want to be a part of the best mastermind on the planet, go to thewealth100.com right now and apply. I need you to get into the room right now, guys. Let's go. Thewealth100.com.